This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Romesh Piris and read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. The head of state states the only solution for long-term issues faced by the public is systematic development. A special traffic plan in place to facilitate the final rites of late Mahanayaka of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya. All grades of the Western Province schools to reopen on March 29th. The highest number of COVID-19 cases reported from the Colombo district. Investigation island-wide for coconut oil containing carcinogenic. The former Prime Minister says the COVID impact on the economy will be felt for years. And in international news, US President Biden tasks Harris with tackling migrant influx on US-Mexico border. And in sports, Tokyo Olympics torch relay gets underway. Now the local news in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says the only solution for long-term issues faced by the public is systematic development. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said, however, those who have no policy or programs have been critical of the government's development initiatives. Speaking during an event in Nugegoda, the president said he will not discontinue the programs initiated for the people despite various obstacles and criticism. The head of state noted that the public should not be allowed to be deceived through misinformation. On a separate note, the president noted that no party has been given permission to destroy the environment. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa added that he has given instructions to district secretaries to investigate and take immediate action on incidents of forests being cleared and persons destroying the natural environment. The final rites of the late chief prelate of the Amarapura chapter, Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera, will be held this afternoon at the Independence Square under state patronage. Most Venerable Aggamaha Pandita Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera passed away at the age of 88 on Monday while being treated at a private hospital for an illness. Meanwhile, today has been declared a national day of mourning owing to the final rites of late Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera. Meanwhile, the route of the funeral procession of the prelate of Amarapura sect Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera has been set for the final rites of the Thera today. Accordingly, the funeral procession will move from Mount Lavinia up to Independence Square in Colombo via Gaul Road. The police said the funeral proceedings will commence at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Furthermore, the police advise motorists and the general public to use alternative routes to avoid any inconveniences. The highest number of COVID-19 cases have been reported from the Colombo district, recording 53 cases. The number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country increased to 91,018, following the detection of 252 patients yesterday. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 2,836 persons are currently receiving treatment for coronavirus at several facilities across the country. The number of recoveries in the country has increased to 87,630. 435 suspected COVID-19 cases are also under medical observation at present. The death toll due to COVID-19 stands at 552. Meanwhile, the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation of Sri Lanka said another 500,000 doses of the AstraZeneca Covishield COVID-19 vaccine ordered from the Serum Institute of India will arrive in Sri Lanka in April 2021. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 12,000 people were given COVID-19 vaccines yesterday. It added that a total of 856,327 people have received the vaccine so far in Sri Lanka since the commencement of the vaccination drive on the 29th of January 2021. The Consumer Affairs Authority stated that samples which were taken from the coconut oil stock which allegedly contain carcinogenic chemicals are being further tested. The Director General of Sri Lanka Customs, retired Major General Vijitha Ravipura, said that samples of two major companies that imported the relevant coconut oil yesterday were taken for testing. It was reported that 8,000 tons of imported unrefined coconut oil were released from the Colombo port last night. That is in the background where it was revealed that 13 containers in the stock contained coconut oil with carcinogenic chemicals. The Director General of Sri Lanka Customs further stated that if the imported coconut oil consignment is confirmed to contain the carcinogen called aflatoxins, the relevant companies have already been notified to re-export the consignment to the country of origin. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life.
Continuing local news, the former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says the COVID-19 pandemic will not end in 2021 and its economic impact will be felt for years to come. Speaking at the WION Global Summit 2021 in Dubai, the former Premier stressed the world has not turned a corner yet and that until a medical solution is found and the coronavirus will continue to interfere in the smooth functioning of global affairs. He added that the world is experiencing the worst economic crisis after the World War II and the people should expect only a gradual economic recovery. The second day of the Parliament debate on the report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry that probed the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks will get underway today. The debate will commence with oral questions of members of Parliament scheduled between 10 to 11 a.m. The report was debated in Parliament on the 10th of March and will be debated again tomorrow as well. The adjournment debate will be held from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow without holding oral questions or allowing questions under Standing Order 27/2. The Minister of Ports and Shipping, Rohitha Begunawardena, says a cabinet paper pertaining to the development of the western terminal of the Colombo port and a report regarding the program will be submitted to the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Ports and Shipping. Minister Begunawardena stated the matter at the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Ports and Shipping held in Parliament yesterday. The minister further stated that the necessary background has been prepared for the program to make the eastern terminal of the Colombo port fully operational under the Ports Authority, while the cabinet approval has been obtained for the project. That ends local news. The main news story follows.
Introducing Speed Investment with Sri Lanka Insurance, the only insurance policy that increases your sum assured by 5% every year for the same premium amount. You also get a bonus payment at maturity. What better plan to have when you can invest now and relax later? The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life. Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
All grades of schools in the Western Province have been decided to be reopened for academic activities on March 29, 2021. The decision has been approved by the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena. Meanwhile, academic activities of grade 5, 11 and 13 in the schools of Western Province commenced earlier this month. Meanwhile, the Archdiocese of Colombo says all Catholic, private and international schools in the Western Province will reopen on the 5th of April. Academic activities have already resumed for grade 5, 11 and 13 in Catholic schools under the Archdiocese. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, the Government Medical Officers Association has requested the general public to strictly follow health guidelines during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year period. The GMOA further said good health practices such as adhering to social distancing guidelines, wearing a mask, washing hands regularly, and disinfecting periodically are essential to minimize the spread of the novel coronavirus. That came to you in Watchlight. Next up, it's the World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the World News. U.S. President Biden tasks Harris with tackling migrant influx on U.S.-Mexico border. North Korea fires 2 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan. The pontiff cuts pay for cardinals as Vatican finances hit by the pandemic. Now the World News in detail. U.S. President Joe Biden has put Vice President Kamala Harris in charge of controlling migrants at the southern border following a big influx of new arrivals. Mr. Biden said he was giving her a tough job, but that she was the most qualified person to do it. The numbers of people arriving have grown since Mr. Biden took office. They include hundreds of unaccompanied minors who are being held in immigration detention facilities. Mr. Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, was widely criticized over his government's treatment of young migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. North Korea has fired 2 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan, says the U.S. and Japan, the first such test since Joe Biden became U.S. president. Pyongyang is banned from testing ballistic missiles, which are considered threatening weapons under UN Security Council resolutions. Japan and no debris had fallen within its territorial waters. It comes just days after North Korea fired 2 non-ballistic missiles into the Yellow Sea. Pope Francis has ordered pay cuts for cardinals and other clerics as the Vatican battles to balance its books during the pandemic. The Vatican said cardinals will see their pay reduced by 10% from April. They are believed to receive up to €5,000 a month and often live in subsidized accommodation. The Vatican expects a deficit of €50 million this year. Its income has been badly hit by the closure of museums and other attractions in the pandemic. In an apostolic letter, the Vatican said that Pope Francis had issued a decree introducing proportional cuts starting on 1st of April. With that, we conclude the World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. U.S. President Biden tasks Harris with tackling migrant influx on U.S.-Mexico border. North Korea fires 2 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan. The pontiff cuts pay for cardinals as Vatican finances hit by the pandemic. With that, we conclude the World News. The development news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Nivea along with CIB. Valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment and 20% discount for bank card holders during 16th to 30th March. Our product, our place. CIB.
The co-cabinet spokesman and mass media minister Keheliya Rambukwella said the cabinet of ministers granted their consent to the proposal made by Health Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi to establish the Anuradhapura Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Zone. Speaking at the weekly cabinet media briefing held at the Government Information Department yesterday, Minister Rambukwella said that it has been planned to establish the Anuradhapura Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Zone in Oyanamadu, where the Theatre exhibition was held. It was decided to provide an opportunity for local investors to invest in this zone for the production of high-quality pharmaceutical products at a low price. All pharmaceutical products will be manufactured according to the international standards. That was Development News. The Sports News follows.
Development News was brought to you by Nivea along with CIB. Valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment and 20% discount for bank card holders during 16th to 30th March. Our product, our place. CIB.
In Sports News, the Olympic torch relay set off from Fukushima today, beginning a 4-month countdown to the Summer Games in Tokyo, delayed from 2020 and the first ever organized during a global pandemic. About 10,000 runners will carry the torch across Japan's 47 prefectures and far-flung islands, starting from the site of the 2011 quake and tsunami. And in cricket, in the fourth day of the first test at North Sound in Antigua, Pathum Nissanka's century on debut, the fourth Sri Lankan to achieve the feat, and an equally vital 96 from Niroshan Dikwella crowned a dominant day for Sri Lanka. The pair's 179 run stands for the sixth wicket, set the West Indies a 375-run target, 34 of which the hosts had knocked off by stumps for the loss of just John Campbell. Craig Braithwaite and Nkuma Bona were at the crease on 8 and 15 respectively. That was Sports News. Next up is the Business News.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Export Development Board Chairman Suresh Dimel noted that Sri Lanka was the leading English proficient country among Buddhist nations. Dimel said, addressing a webinar organized jointly by the EDB and the Sri Lankan Embassy in Vietnam to promote Sri Lankan Buddhist education, said facilities currently exist for foreign students to be boarded in Sri Lanka during their studies. Furthermore, he said the EDB is working to bring down Japanese students to Sri Lanka, and discussions are underway with Tokyo being at a very advanced stage. Sri Lankan ambassador to Vietnam, Prasanna Gamage, said that Sri Lanka has a high-quality Buddhist education infrastructure. Currently, an estimated 80 monks from Vietnam are studying in Sri Lanka. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The ambassador of Romania resident in Colombo, Ambassador Victor Cergia, met Foreign Minister Jinesh Gunawardena recently at the Foreign Ministry. The parties reviewed bilateral cooperation in the political, economic and cultural spheres with a focus on trade, investment, tourism, foreign, employment and agriculture. The parties focused on the expansion of bilateral trade and investment opportunities, including greater utilization of the EU GSP Plus facility and cooperation in the tourism sector, given the increased trend of tourist arrivals from Romania to Sri Lanka and to South Asia. That ends Economic News.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department forecasts cloudy skies over southern half of the island. It further predicts showers or thundershowers at several places in the Sabragamua, western, northwestern and central provinces and in Gaul, Matara and Mannar districts during the evening or night. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the above areas. Showers will occur in eastern and Uva provinces and in Hambantota district. That was the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The head of state states the only solution for long-term issues faced by the public is systematic development. A special traffic plan in place to facilitate the final rites of late Mahanayaka of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya. All grades of the Western Province schools to reopen on March 29th. The highest number of COVID-19 cases reported from the Colombo district. Investigation island-wide for coconut oil containing carcinogenic. The former Prime Minister says the COVID impact on the economy will be felt for years. With that, we conclude the news and over to my friend and certainly yours as well, who's all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music indeed. Over to you, Niranjan.